Hey guys, Amanda here. We are at one of my favorite places, actually Newfields, which is the Indianapolis Museum of Art, but we're actually at the 100 Acre Woods, which is free to the public, right off of 38th Street. So when you walk in the entrance, you can see that there are trails. There's tons of these cool benches, which are actually sculptures. I'm very excited about. Also, lots of people fishing today. It's pretty cool. Very excited. Now we are going to talk to Megan.
Hi, we are coming to you today, as Amanda said, from the 100 Acres at Newfields, and this is another excellent place to showcase both art and nature. In fact, that's its entire purpose. So today our lesson is going to focus on waste, and I have a little cheat sheet here because I'm going to throw some numbers at you and I don't have them all memorized. But in the US, every year we are throwing away about 268 million tons of municipal solid waste, and Americans are by far the leader in waste production. Every individual in the country is throwing away about 1,600 pounds per person per year. That comes down to about 4.5 pounds of trash per day that you're throwing away, much of which can actually be recycled or composted. So toward the end of the lesson, we're going to talk a little bit about the 3 R's and then some. But I want to go through a little bit more with you before we get there. Just to give you guys kind of some perspective on what this looks like. So in the US, every year we're throwing away 16 billion diapers, 1.6 billion pens, 2 billion razor blades, 220 million car tires, and enough aluminum to rebuild the entire US commercial air fleet. So just those handful of items I think gives you a pretty significant sense of how much waste we're generating every year. Of the waste that we're throwing away, about 65% is packaging. So we're not even talking about products that you've consumed and you've purchased for a particular reason, but the packaging that those products have come in, whose only purpose is to get them to your door and be opened up and thrown away. So there are a lot of ways that you as an individual consumer can help to make a difference. Indiana is the fastest growing rate for landfilling in the US of all 50 states. Our landfills are growing at the fastest, and we are ranked second in the US in terms of landfill waste per capita. So Hoosiers, again, there are a lot of things that you guys can do to make a difference. One of the things that I want to focus on in terms of our art activity is that there are a number of artists who have done found art sculptures using ocean plastics as an effort to highlight this issue in particular. We don't have an example here today. I will see if I can find some pictures for you though, because there are some really cool pieces out there. But ocean plastics in particular are a big issue. It is estimated that worldwide about 8 million metric tons of plastic are entering our oceans every year. And you might think, hey, we're in Indiana, we're really far from the ocean, so we're not contributing. But the majority of things that are found in oceans are food wrappers, bottles, grocery bags, cigarette butts, straws, takeout containers, bottle caps, and I guarantee you these are things that you've seen on the side of the road here in Indianapolis. And even though it doesn't seem like we're contributing, these things can be washed away when it rains into our surface waters. They make their way to the White River, eventually to the Ohio, the Mississippi, and the Gulf of Mexico. So even though it seems like a distant issue, it's something that each of us likely contributes to, and each of us can have a hand in the solution as well. So like I said, I wanted to focus on some of the R's. The 3 traditional R's, of course, are reduce, reuse, and recycle. You may be seeing some additions to that recently, things like remake, repurpose, reimagine, and those are the ones that we want to focus on today. So where I'm sitting is a piece of art here in the 100 Acres. This is a fallen tulip tree that was reimagined and repurposed as both an art installation and a recreational opportunity by the artists. So here in a little bit, Amanda and I are going to use some common waste items to create our own repurposed found art sculpture.
Hey guys, it's Amanda. We are actually at the front of the entrance to the 100 Acre Woods. So when you park your car, this is the first sculpture you will see. I'm not sure how many actually the 100 Acre Woods has. I can think of, oh gosh, I can think of 10 right off the top of my head, but this is probably the biggest one that they have. So like Megan was talking about, we're talking about sculptures today, but we're also talking about reusing, recycling, remaking, reimagination, but also, sorry, there's bugs everywhere out here. We're going to talk about abstract. So in case you don't know what abstract is, it's kind of using your imagination to portray an emotion, using color, line, and shape, basically. So let's talk about this. This is made by Los Carpinteros, and it's called Free Basket. It was made in 2010. I hope that's how you say it. I'm really bad with names. If you come here in the evening, it lights up from the bottom. It's really, really cool. So I'm gonna ask Megan some questions as we're walking towards it. So let's go, I don't know, let's go walk on it, right? This is made for this. You actually can do that. A lot of art stuff you can't walk on it, but this one actually, everything here is made for people to climb on, which I think is really cool. So the reason I love this so much is one, it's a basketball court. I love basketball, which I think is really cool. The bottom is actually made of rubber, and I'm almost positive it's recycled rubber, and they've made it into a court. Now, the movement, I would say, that looks like frowny faces reminds me of a bouncing ball or a bouncing basketball. Also, it's really simple with color, right? It just has red and blue and yellow. I know, and everything's very circular, half circular. So when I think of all those things, without even looking at this, I think of simple or happy. I think if there was like jagged edges or I don't know, like lightning bolts, that maybe make me sad or angry, but everything's very happy in this one. How does it make you feel, Megan?
So I look at it and I just think energetic.
Yeah.
You talked about bouncing basketballs. When you said that, I thought of the bouncing ball over the lyrics on a sing-along song. I also see like the arc of a player shooting a basketball.
That's a good one too. Well, let's walk up on it and we can get some close-up. I can talk more about it. I know a lot of different colors can portray different feelings as well. Usually red means anger, but I think this might be a little different. You know, I don't feel any anger from this sculpture at all. Yellow's pretty calming, and the blue just makes me think hyper. So if you do come here, don't forget your basketball or some type of something you can play with. But yeah, it's really cool, guys. You can just walk in and out. Sorry, I'm just playing and you're videotaping me, but this is one of my favorite things. Also, if you notice too, I think the only really consistent, even though it's very chaotic, there's some sort of like, I don't know, all these beams, I think these are steel. They're all the same width and shape. So, I don't know, it has this weird like, I don't know if calming is the right word, but it's just not as chaotic when you're actually inside of it. But it's just really neat to come look and play. And actually, us talking about this, I will add this too, we're actually giving an art critique. So us talking about it and telling us how it feels and maybe something that we would change or what we like or don't like, that's called an art critique. And that's what a lot of artists do. So now you guys can give your own art critique. So I don't think I would change anything about this. I think it's super fun. Megan, would you change anything?
I
Maybe
wouldn't
one more
even.
basketball goal.
Maybe one more basketball goal. I wouldn't even know where to begin with an art critique.
It's really just your opinion. But I think it looks awesome. And, yeah, I didn't want to talk a whole lot today, guys, because we're going to be doing a very exciting sculpture together. So at this moment, we're going to actually go back to my house because you need to plug in your mini glue guns. And at this point, you're going to need to get all that trash that I asked you to save from the very beginning and pile it somewhere. And don't forget, your parents do need to help you with the glue gun. And then if you want to, like, steal some things from different places, maybe not metal, maybe metal, I don't know. Maybe you have some, like, leftover plastic silverware you never use, or maybe some bottles or something like that. Anyway, put that all in a pile, and we will go back to my house, and I'll show you how to make our sculpture.
But first, we're going to play a quick game of one-on-one.
Hey guys, we are back in my house, and the only reason we're not doing the art project on location is because we needed electricity for our little glue guns. I'm very excited about this project. So we touched base on what abstract meant and what sculptures are, so now we're going to make an abstract sculpture. Now, I do recommend you work together if you can stand each other. So Megan and I are actually going to work together. If you can see, this table is just full of what looks like trash to one person, but to me, it is treasure. We've got some cardboard. I drink Diet Mountain Dew. We got a few cans. I've got tape, scissors. I've got paint left over. Go ahead and get your glue sticks out. Maybe your paintbrushes left over. Just get everything. I'm even going to use the ones that I messed up on from the Audubon class that we did, and also this was one of the ones that I messed up on for the Monet, so we're going to do that. But I've made everything either small or big. Megan actually brought some stuff she never uses, which I thought that was really cool. Yeah, so we're just going to go for it together. I think one person's going to glue while the other person paints, and we're just going to talk about some more recycle and different places around Indy.
I meant to share earlier about recycling opportunities in Indianapolis. I mentioned that Indiana is one of the national leaders in landfilling waste, which is probably not a claim to fame that we are terribly proud of.
Boo.
So I wanted to share that if any of you are interested in finding recycling or composting opportunities in Indianapolis, I do have some connections with other organizations. Even though that's not something that Strive specifically does, I've built some relationships with organizations that do, and I would be thrilled to connect you guys. So if you want to shoot an email to striveworldwide@gmail.com with any questions, I'd be happy to share the contact info for some of those resources with you.
Also, we don't know what we're building. As I mentioned before, abstract kind of portrays an emotion, and we decided to go into it very neutral. You can start by feeling an emotion and then kind of building off of that, but we decided we'd just be calm and collected and then kind of do whatever came to our mind. So at the beginning, I am painting, and Megan is just gluing to whatever her heart desires, and then maybe here in a few minutes we'll switch off, and then we will show you the masterpiece at the very end. It's probably going to be worth $1 million.
I'm just going to throw out there that art does not make me feel calm and collected.
Some people have trouble with abstracts.
Hanging out in pollinator gardens, it's a calming experience. Making art, not so much.
It's intimidating. It can be 100% intimidating. I get it. A little side note, I actually was the guest speaker at the zoo today, and they have an art camp, and there was 50 little kids, and they were asking great questions, but just being put on the spot, and talking about art. These little 12-year-olds, I've never been so nervous. It was just a little alarming a little bit, even though they were great, and I really enjoyed their company. I don't know, I always felt like I was being interviewed for a really important job, even though I was the one supposed to be there on a voluntary basis. But I was not calm today, so I get it.
So since we're talking about reusing, recycling, repurposing, I want to share one specific piece with you. I have no idea yet how we're going to use this in our sculpture, but this is an egg carton that I have reused multiple times. I have chickens and give people eggs, and it's been given back to me. I've refilled it. I've given it on to somebody else who's given it back to me. But the last time it was given back to me, it sat in my car last week, and I don't know if you can tell, but it melted right here. You can see. And so, unfortunately, its reusable days are over, but I thought it might be perfect for
it is
repurposing or reimagining. So we're going to find a way to pull this in.
I thought you melted it like on your oven. I didn't know that it melted in your car.
No, it got that hot in Indiana last week, or at least in my car, to melt this plastic. All right, guys, the moment you've all been waiting for. Amanda and I are super proud of our masterpiece. I'm going to show you the pollinator garden. As I said, I find the pollinator garden to be a calming presence. We didn't necessarily go into it with the anticipation of duplicating a pollinator garden on our sculpture, but that's what we've ended up with. So the flowers, I'll give you a close look here, are actually that egg carton that I showed you before. You can see the remnants of it there on the base, and then Amanda cut and painted more of the little egg holders to make the flowers. Our cat has lovely plastic fork whiskers. I'm pretty sure the cat's trying to catch that bird, and we don't actually have any pollinators in our pollinator garden, but we do have this spider looking down on the whole scene.
Steve.
His name is Steve. And the sun shining down out of plastic spoons and forks as well. So Amanda, do you want to turn it around and show off the rest?
And then the top of the egg carton, I don't even know why I painted this. I just went with it, but it looked like a minion to me. So I painted this super creepy minion. And then we kind of made this weird river dam. I don't know.
The whole scene's supported.
Yes, it's just raining minion colors. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's Steve's home. So it's a little less abstract than I thought where we were going, because we didn't know what we were going to do. We actually turned it into something, which is just fine too. But we definitely recycled and reused and reimagined. So I can't wait to see your guys' pictures. Please send them to me, text them to me. I'm really excited to see what you guys come up with.